Hello, my name is Steven, and thank you for choosing Minka Aire for your new ceiling fan purchase. In this short video, we will be providing basic ceiling fan installation instructions for all you do-it-yourselfers out there. The idea of the ceiling fan as being a simple means of air movement has faded away as Minka Aire has shown that ceiling fans can be both functional and the main focal point of your room. Minka Aire ceiling fans not only improve the aesthetic appeal of a given space, but also help to cut down on energy consumption by providing sufficient air circulation in both the summer and winter months. After viewing this video, you will find that the actual assembly and installation of your ceiling fan is fairly easy. The tools you'll need are very basic. You will need a wire stripper, screwdriver, and voltage tester. Wire cap nuts and hardware are provided with your new fan. Let's get started. Prior to performing any electrical work, always remember to turn off the power at your breaker box. If you are unsure or unfamiliar with your breaker panel, consider contacting a licensed electrician. Also, as an added precaution, be sure to turn any switches in your room to the off position. Take a moment to identify the wiring in your home. Most homes will have a standard black hot wire, white neutral, and green or bare copper ground wire. If you are unsure as to which wire is which, we strongly recommend using a voltage tester or consulting a qualified electrician. If you have two switches at your wall that control this ceiling location, you may have an additional black or red wire. This additional wire will be discussed later in the video. Let's go ahead and describe what you should have. First and foremost, you're going to have your motor assembly. Next, you're going to have your blade arms. Your blades are going to attach to these arms are going to attach to your motor. Next, depending on your fan, you should have a switch cup plate. This is used to attach any light kit or pull chain switching assembly. Also, depending on the fan, you may have a top motor cover. Some fans come with this pre-assembled, as with the case with this fan. It is not, it'll be added during installation. You'll also have your mounting hardware. You'll have screws to attach your hanging assembly to the ceiling, to finish your wiring connections, to attach your blades and arms, and your pull chain for your fan speeds. Your fan blades are laid out and packaged by weight to prevent balance or wobbling problems. Also, as stated previously, you're going to have a 6-inch down rod and a 3.5-inch down rod. Depending on how high or low your ceilings will obviously determine which down rod you're going to use. Also remember to save any instructions that came with the fan for later illustration or troubleshooting. Also, be sure to fill out your warranty registration information and send that into the corporate office to validate your warranty. Lastly, you'll have your canopy cover to cover any connections or electrical connections made at the ceiling, as well as your switch cup assembly to control fan speed, which should go on last. You also have your hardware and tools needed to complete the installation. You have your voltage tester, your screwdrivers, and your wire strippers. Nothing else should be needed for most basic ceiling fan installation. Prior to installing your fan, there's a few steps that need to be taken on the table prior to hanging. You're going to start by choosing the down rod length needed depending on your ceiling height. Again, your fan is included with a 6 and a 3.5-inch rod. In this case, we're going to go ahead and use the 6-inch rod. As you can see, there's obviously too much wire for the 6-inch rod. Rather than thread the entire 6 feet of wire through the rod, we're going to go ahead and make our cut prior to attaching the rod to the fan body. Remember, leave an ample amount of wire past the rod, that way you don't have to come back later and splice in or make any connections that aren't needed. Now you're ready to go ahead and thread the wires through your down rod. From the bottom side, remember the threaded side of the rod is going to go face towards the fan body. Thread the wires through. Pull them tight until you can set the rod at equal level with the fan body. You're going to find a few set screws in the fan coupler. These are going to need to be loosened prior to turning and threading the rod into the coupler. Go ahead and loosen these screws. Once these are loosened, you'll be able to thread the fan down rod into the coupler. You'll notice that the rod has a hole for a cross pin and hitch pin. This keeps the rod assembly stationary when the fan is running. Be sure to align the hole in the down rod with the hole in the coupler so you can insert your hitch pin and cross pin. Once the hole in the down rod is aligned with the coupler, you can go ahead and insert your cross pin. Next, you're going to go ahead and insert your hitch pin. Next, you're going to go ahead and tighten the set screws that you previously loosened. You don't need to over-tighten these screws, they just need to be taut. After your cross pin and hitch pin are in place and your set screws have been tightened, you're going to need to place the motor housing cover on top of the motor, as well as pre-install the canopy so once you've hung the fan you can cover your connections. To remove the ball, you're going to go ahead and loosen the set screw on the side of the hanger ball. Again, this set screw does not have to be removed. The ball will slide freely down the down rod to expose an additional cross pin. Go ahead and remove this cross pin and remove your down rod, your hanger ball. This will allow you to place the top motor cover on top of the fan body. Go ahead and thread your wires through the center of the motor cover and let that rest on top of the fan motor assembly. There are no adhesives or screws to hold this down. This just rests on top of the body. Next, you're going to go ahead and place your canopy on top of the fan motor cover and let it rest freely. Thread your wires through the center as you did previously. Once your canopy is resting, you can go ahead and reinstall your hanger ball that you previously removed. Again, thread the wires through your hanger ball and let it rest freely. To reinstall and retighten the hanger ball, you're going to reinsert your cross pin. Once your cross pin is in place, you can go ahead and raise your hanger ball back up into its original position and retighten the set screw previously loosened. Now you're ready to hang your fan. Remember, prior to installing your ceiling fan, you do need to determine which wire is hot. This way, when you do turn your power back on, you can be sure you've made the proper connections. Go ahead and use your tester to determine which wire is hot. In this case, our black wires are hot wire, so we're safe to assume connecting our fan's power wires to this wire should give us correct operation. You can go ahead and move forward and turn off power at your breaker and turn off any switches that may be in the room. Now attach your fan hanger bracket to your outlet box using the screws provided. Make sure to tighten it tight and give it a wiggle to make sure that it's secure prior to hanging your new fan. Remember, if you had a fan hanging previously, remove the hanger bracket and install the hanger bracket that was included with your new fan. Do not assume that your old hanger bracket will support the weight of your new fan. You're now ready to hang your fan into the hanger bracket that you just attached to your junction box. Once it's hanging in the bracket, give your fan a slight turn until you hear your hanger ball click into your hanger bracket. Now you know your fan is secure. Depending on the fan you have, it may have come with what we call a motor support plate. This locks the motor in place for shipping purposes and needs to be removed prior to installing any blades to the fan. Once the plate's removed, you can move forward with your installation. Once you've removed the motor support bracket, you can go ahead and move forward with attaching your blades to your blade holders. Most blades will attach to your holders with 3 screws. You'll notice here that I've already done this and pre-assembled before attaching to the fan. Once everything's attached, you may go ahead and move forward and attach your blade arm to your fan. Next, you're going to attach your switch cup plate to your fan body. The switch cup plate is going to be the main support for your switch housing and your fan speed control. Go ahead and pass the wire through the center of your switch cup plate and twist and lock the switch cup plate to the fan body. Next, you're going to attach your switch cup to the switch cup plate that you just installed to your fan. You're going to see color-coded markings on the side of your Molex plug. Be sure to match these color-coded markings up to the same color-coded markings on the fan Molex plug. Once your connection is made, you can go ahead and lift and raise your switch cup up to the switch cup plate and fasten with the screws provided. Here we're going to go ahead and strip our wires so we can make our connections from the fan to the house. Now that your wires are stripped, you can move forward and go ahead and make your connections to your house hot wire. Remember, previously we determined our black wire as our hot wire. The wire cap nut provided with your fan. Now that your power is connected, you can go ahead and move on to your white neutral wire. Connect the fan's white neutral wire to your house white neutral wire. You're going to connect the ground wire from your hanger ball to the ground wire on your hanger bracket. Once all connections are made, you can hide your wires up into the hanger bracket. This will allow for more room to lift your canopy into place. Now that your wires are tucked into the hanger bracket, you can lift your canopy up to hide those connections. Remember, be careful not to pinch any wires when you're lifting the canopy. If they are in your way, remove the canopy, lift the wires, and try again. Now that your canopy is in place, you can tighten the 2 set screws provided. Now that you've made all your connections and the installation is done, we can go ahead and restore power at the breaker box and test our fan. Take a moment to review your installation and be sure that all screws are secure. Next, turn on your power at the breaker box to allow for testing of your new fan. Be sure to go through all 3 fan speeds. Your installation is now complete. Congratulations. Should you have any additional questions, please contact our Minka Aire technical support at 1-800-221-7977. Thank you.